I think our
Sponsored by Sunny Queen.
This meeting is being recorded.
logo.
Hi, Anne.
Hey, Jesse. Awesome seeing everyone. Oh, Fung's here from part 1. The famous Fung.
What is going on, team? Keen for
Thanks
this
for
one.
jumping on. You've set a high.
What's that?
You've set the bar high from part 1.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm sure these guys will what's it called, outshine us from part 1 definitely.
Okay, we'll give it 1 more minute. I know we've already started a little bit later just due to some tech issues, but we'll give it 1 more minute. Allow everyone to jump on and we'll jump straight into it.
How many people we got this time around signed up, Jesse?
I think there's about 45 people on the call so far, or 40 people on the call so far, but I think we had about 70 register. So hopefully we've got a few more that turn up.
Amazing.
We have we've been recording them as well, so we've been putting on our YouTube channel. So if anyone misses, they can go back and watch it on the channel.
I saw it. I saw you posted up. Good stuff.
Yeah. All right, I might just get straight into it, and people can if Paul, you just want to admit people as they start to come through. So welcome everyone to our WOTSO Skill Swap series. This is our 2nd session of the Skill Swap. As I already mentioned, Fong was part of our part 1 of Marketing the AI. Thanks for joining us again, Fong. As I said, it was an awesome first session, and today we're just going to be delving a little bit deeper into AI and marketing. As we know, it's a massive part of our world today with small businesses. So we're going to be jumping a little bit deeper into that. We've got an awesome panel. Paul, if you just want to hit the slide, we've got an awesome panel of WOTSO members today. It's going to be a really good session. These guys have a heap of knowledge that they're going to share with us today. And today, as I mentioned, we're going to be covering how is AI reshaping how customers find and connect with businesses. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our awesome panel to introduce themselves. Ansh,
hey everyone,
over to you.
Thanks Anna. My name is Ansh, I'm from Bose Creative. We are a photo and video production company, and we do specialize in the healthcare space. So we work with like companies from like the medical space all the way to anything in healthcare, disability, pharmaceutical, skincare. We've been using AI in ways to better our, help us along the way of what we're doing. And I know people had this like scare before of like AI is going to take over our jobs. But what's been really interesting is like, people in marketing or visual branding, or I mean, lots of different industries have started implementing these tools to be able to become more efficient. And that's what I find really interesting. How can we push the boundaries and work out ways to use AI to better what we're doing on a day-to-day basis?
Perfect. Thanks, Ansh. Rose, over to you.
Hi folks, my name is Rose Weaver. My business is called Nerdyness. I'm apparently a productivity specialist and creative nerd. That's what my business card says anyway. I do website design and also do coaching in AI and social posting software, co-creation, accountability packages as well. I use AI for website content. Helping our clients get that across the line has been so much easier since AI came about for large language models. Helping with social post content, email efficiency, meeting summaries, strategies, policies and procedures. It's fantastic for us. Next action steps for meetings, as we can all see this morning from everyone's note takers trying to join the Zoom meeting. And I'm from the WOTSO Sunshine Coast. It's currently raining.
No, it's pretty cold in Sydney here as well, actually, Rose. Thanks for that, Rose. Over to you, Ben.
G'day guys. Yes, as the guys have said, I'm based in the WOTSO and Bondi Junction in Sydney. My name's Ben Guthridge. I've founded a digital marketing agency called Search Rescue. I've got a sales force around the country and an offshore support arm. The big three things of what we do is Google Ads, SEO, and Meta Ads.
Sorry, Ben. If everyone can please just quickly just jump on mute. I think there's a few people just off mute. There we go. Thank you. Over to you, Ben. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so we just do three things: Google Ads, SEO, and Meta Ads. We've got a couple of hundred active advertisers from small business to ASX listed. We're already leaning into AI quite heavily because when there's a lot of repetitive tasks to be done in our space, then AI can really help with all of that. So we're using it for campaign management, reporting, planning, etc. We're also building AI agents. And another controversial thing we're looking into is voice agents, which is another huge thing about to hit society. And right now, our main large language model that we're using is ChatGPT.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. As you can see, quite an awesome panel that we've got here today. I'll quickly introduce myself. My name's Hannah McNulty, even though my Zoom name says WOTSO Marketing. I'm the marketing lead here at WOTSO. So just quickly before we delve into these discussion points, if anyone has any questions throughout the presentation, if you mind just popping them in the question box below, and we have some designated time at the end for question and answers, so we will read out some there. We also put out a question box over the week, and we've got a couple that got sent through, so we'll make sure to answer those ones as well. So let's get into it. So first discussion point: how can small businesses leverage AI to optimize their online presence and enhance local search visibility without significant budgets or technical resources? Now, Ben, I'm going to throw to you for this one.
Okay, thank you for that, Anna. So with regards to the presence, I'm going to sort of narrow that down and talk about search. It's the biggest part of what we do, and obviously search is a hugely important part for business success and being found. I think that is going to change to being found in AI. So what we've got here are elements which are going to help both your search visibility and your AI visibility. Google and AI are just looking for useful content. At the end of the day, they just want the users of either the LLM or search or even Bing search to get the information that they're looking for. So it goes without saying you've got to have the right content on your website. If you've got a big website right now with more pages and more answers to questions, then you'll benefit in the AI space. So how do we shortcut that? How do we expedite visibility? Aside from just already having a gigantic website, one of the great things you can do is increase the amount of FAQs on your website. People are changing the way they search these days. They're asking longer tail questions. They're asking whole sentences. Now, if you have a good answer, a helpful content answer to that question, you've got a very high chance of appearing in, say, the Gemini results within Google search engine, or in Grok, or in ChatGPT, or one of the other LLMs. So FAQs is a really smart and fast way to get some content up on the site. And another hack to do that is if you've got a receptionist or a telephonist who answers all your calls, jot down what the 20 most common questions are that they're getting asked, and then write down the answer and upload that to your website. Better yet, if you can answer that through a video, upload it to YouTube, transcribe it, and have the YouTube transcription and the video in the FAQ link. It's just more content, and it's helpful.
Sorry, Ben, the question on that one. I know you mentioned that you can ask the reception. Can you use ChatGPT and Gemini to come up with these questions for you, almost tricking it into giving you the questions that people are searching in ChatGPT?
Yeah, it's a good question, and 2 slides on I'll answer that. We use some tools which prompt you on what the kind of questions are that people are looking for. But absolutely, I mean, if you give, say, a ChatGPT the prompt of, in this case, a dentist in Surrey Hills in Sydney, what kind of questions would people be asking about a dentist in Surrey Hills? Give me 20 questions, and you might want to choose 20 which you think are appropriate from that list. The second answer to this, which relates to the bottom left page snap on the bottom, is technical SEO. This is more from a web development point of view, which Rose can lean into. But there is a feature within in your website where you can add what's called schema code. It's code to categorize your business, whether it's FAQs, local business, etc. And if you can add this schema code for the various different types of rich results, you also increase the chance of your website being found in the AI results and improve your sort of AI search presence.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Moving along, I think you covered all bases of that one. That was a great response there. So similar to the first one, how can small businesses use AI tools to improve keyword research, SEO writing, and content optimization? And what technologies can they use to track these results effectively in an AI-driven search world? Ben, I might throw to you to start this one as well as the search genius. Do you have any points on this one?
Yeah, if we go to the next slide, I've put together some other screen snaps to sort of help me talk through it. So there are a lot of tools out there. We're using one called SE Ranking. These are tools primarily for search engine advertising, marketing optimization, etc. Other ones include like SEMrush, SEMrush, and Ahrefs. We find the best value for this particular one. And a lot of them, probably most of them, have an actual questions available, like a questions tool within this. So if you're a dentist looking to see what kind of questions are people asking in this space, then it spits out the answers here, which you can look to then provide a response for. Now, when you're doing this, you can see also in this screen snap on the top left, you've got difficulty and you've got search volume. So obviously you want to make sure you're providing answers for topics which have got volume. There's no point responding about questions which hardly anyone's asking. And then you can also consider difficulty. If it's going to be very difficult to show for, then perhaps stay away from that. Go for questions which are a bit more achievable and you've got a high likelihood of success. If we look at the screen snap in the top right here, one big thing for me to take away for you guys today is I think it's very important for most businesses to have like a AI prompts master sheet. So if you're doing things repeatedly, then write down prompts and have them on file so that you can just go copy paste that and then insert the new variable. In this instance, like, okay, write me some Google Ads text ads, pretending you're the world's best Google Ads analyst. You paste in the landing page and you get the work done for you. So that's a sort of a helpful, if you can create some templates yourself and some prompts, that'll really help your efficiency and your workflow. Going to the bottom screen snap, a lot of people are asking, like, how do I even see what impact I'm getting from AI? How much traffic am I getting from it? So for those people who are familiar with Google Analytics, it's a free tool from Google, which tracks all of your website traffic and shows an absolute myriad of data about what's happening on the site. So if you go into the traffic acquisition part, and if you refine it down to session primary source, you will be able to see like all the LLMs are a session source. And so in this particular instance for this client, in that date range, they had 46 sessions on the site coming through ChatGPT. You can see in row 7 down the bottom, you've got perplexity and so on and so forth. And what we're seeing here is a drastic rise in not only sessions, but also key events, i.e. conversions. So the actual activity is visible in your analytics to know how much these LLMs are bringing traffic to you and also bringing in conversions. I just added a further bullet point in the last sort of hour or so. Just one thing is a huge development in the last 7 days is ChatGPT has brought out its own browser to compete with Safari, to compete with Chrome. It's called Atlas. And the reason it's important is that currently web browsers are a little bit static. Like if you go and look in this tab for this particular topic, then you look for that for something else. Like if you're planning a trip to Vietnam, right? In this particular tab, the difference with Atlas is it's understanding the greater context of what you're doing across all of your web browsers. So if you open a new tab, it already understands that you're planning that trip to Vietnam, and maybe you need to consider hotels, or maybe it's going to serve you something relevant to that. So that is a huge change. It's worth experimenting with that. It's learning, but at the end of the day, all this stuff is there to try and make your life easier. So it's a big advancement, but all these tools should help make your life easier and hopefully your business more efficient.
Yeah, wow, that's a massive development. When was that one announced, Ben? This week?
I think about 5 days ago.
Oh, wow. So it's hot off the press.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a
wow.
play.
I'll definitely be looking into that one after this one. Thanks, Ben. That was a great response. We'll flick on to the next one, Paula, if that's all right. So this one, a little bit of a different approach. This is more around the content that AI is actually creating for us. So how can businesses balance AI automation with authentic human-led marketing that builds real customer trust? Now, I'm going to throw over to Rose for this one to start with. Rose?
I get the curly one. Yay for me. Good stuff. That's the thing, is you'll always have people that won't touch anything that's AI driven. They don't want to look at the AI results. They want to look at organic. Just like we've always had the situation where when you do a Google search, ads come up. Some people will only ever click on the ad because they're in a hurry, couldn't be bothered. It's up the top, must be good. And others that will absolutely never click on the ad, and they scroll down further. So different people have different preferences. You still want to keep that human aspect in play. Same with what Ben was mentioning before with regards to AI phone answering services are becoming so much more integrated within businesses now. You still need that human touch. When you think about it, though, it's probably smarter than the old ones that used to say, I didn't understand that. Press 1 if you want to speak to an operator, and you're screaming operator at the end of the phone. It will actually probably pick it up quicker. So if anything, there are probably improvements in a large degree of what we've already got. Human-led is making sure that people can still get in touch with the human when they should be getting in touch with the human. It won't replace us. It will enhance our capabilities. Going on from the frequent last questions aspect that Ben addressed before, with website design, part of that is we used to manually search our clients' competitors, local, interstate and intrastate, to get a collation of frequent asked questions, manually put them into a Word document in a table, what the question was, where we got the question from, and a column for our clients to put their response. Then we would optimize it for searches. That is so much more easy now, and clients can do it themselves as well. So a lot of these tools that doesn't take work away from us. It just makes us get what we need for the customer a little bit more effectively. So check the content, check the wording, sprinkle your voice into it. If you're using large language model tools like Gemini or Google's Gemini or ChatGPT, you can program it in your voice if you want polished corporate. One of the key things I put in mine is British English, so that I don't have to change the letter Z to S 50,000 times. Using emojis, it proves that it's AI, so that's in some circles, depending on your client base, is not super ideal. So you can actually say don't use emojis, use proper dot points, or use a variety of the forward bracket, like the greater than sign, as a nice little dot point, or the star, the asterisk is a good one as well. And to not use M dash or N dash, which is basically the big fat wide hyphen. It kind of stands out. Those that do like to write grammatically correct, there are instances where using an N dash or an M dash is absolutely appropriate. But some of the large language models just like to throw it in completely instead of a hyphen. So those tiny little things can make a big difference. But rereading it, checking your work, it's meant to be a first draft, not necessarily the last draft. So keeping that in mind, you're actually talking to, what does your audience sound like, especially if you're doing in the online world and the written word, that's on your website and on your social channels and on your directory listings. So if you're talking to white collar workers, then you might use a different brand voice. There's a difference between Qantas and Jetstar and Virgin. Virgin funky, groovy. Qantas might be a little bit more corporate business. It's how your brand wants to be that. But teach the models that you're using to be that.
No, that's such a good point, Rose. I think there's definitely a few things that tend to point out if they haven't refined the information, and it's very obvious when there's like a Z in there, and there's definitely a few things that point out. So making sure that you're checking over it to your brand's voice is super important. I agree with that one. And being in the creative space, this must be so key for you. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, absolutely, a lot. But I'll keep it concise. I think like I say a lot because like our tagline is humanizing healthcare, and I think what we've seen so far, and I think it's going to change, but what we've seen so far is people are losing trust in something that's purely AI generated for a business trying to be like, this is our ad, this is, and trying to run with that. So there's two ways to do it. Either you totally lean into the AI side, don't that human element into the video or into that front end ad, or if you are using AI, use it as a tool. Don't use it as an outcome. As a tool, AI is incredible, but for the end part, people still want to have that relation with a human being. So add your flair into it. Use AI to give you ideas, to give you a direction. But what you finally produce, in my opinion, should still be a human, the human touch at the end of it, so that you're talking to them, you're not talking at them. And if it's something that AI has generated that you're trying to copy as well, you yourself, like I've noticed people get a bit robotic when they're when they're trying to make an ad or they're trying to make a video or something. They're reading from a script that's not them. Whereas someone's personality really comes out when you go, okay, I've got a guide, I've used AI as a tool to give me a direction. I'm going to take that information and bring my own element into it. And that's what we've noticed, that working really well. That still keeps the trust, that balances AI with human-led marketing. But I mean, with the new releases like VO3 it just, the videos are getting so much better that that's why I said this might change, what I'm saying now, and it may make a difference of what human-led marketing is in the next 6 months. But in this current time, I think people still need to be in front of the camera.
No, good points there, Ansh. Flipping to the final one on this little section, we've spoke a lot about words and content where we put information in and it's just spitting out words. But a big part of what AI can do now, what everyone is now realizing, is that it's actually super helpful for design and video, which is the space that you're in, Ange. So how can small businesses use AI for design and video to create professional on-brand content quickly without needing the full creative team? Ange, do you have any thoughts on that one as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, like AI is a tool, right? So like if you use it for idea generation and scripting, that's really powerful, because it gives you a really good head start into what that final video could look like. Like we spend a lot of time doing concept creation, storyboarding, and there's a lot of input that you still need to put into it. Like you still kind of just go to AI. I want to make a video about an iPhone, and it's gonna, yes, it'll give you some ideas, but it's gonna be very generic. You still have to give it a good amount of prompting. You've got to understand a little bit more about what can make a really good outcome out of this. So like one of the things we implement is called a red brain, green brain process. Without going too in depth into it, like green brain is the emotional side, red brain is the technical side. So you always want to start your video with that emotional hook that draws people in, that gets them really interested before you start talking about anything too technical about your business or about your offering. I think AI is also great for like researching your industry and giving you ideas, like marketing ideas. So you could give it a ton of info and say, all right, we're a videography production company specializing in the healthcare space. Can you give me some ideas on how I can market to my ideal customer who are, these kind of people or these kind of businesses? That's the other space where it can really save you a lot of time, give you a great head start into a direction that you should be heading in. And you could even ask it to kind of, you could say, I'm going to be recording some videos out of this, or I'm going to be creating some design elements out of this. Can you give me a step-by-step instruction on how I can achieve this end product? But yeah, I think that's one really good way to get started and give you a really good direction.
Yeah, nice. Similar to jumping back to what Ben said earlier, Ange, in terms of the keywords and those key search terms that people are searching for. Did ChatGPT create scripts with those keywords in it so these videos are still searchable? I'm being a bit like skeptical here. Is that something that it can do?
Like, can it search the keywords within a video?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think if it's transcribed, it can. But that's the main thing. It needs to be. I think Ben mentioned this already. If it's transcribed through YouTube, it can pick it up. Whereas I believe if the subtitles are embedded in the video, I don't think it can still like read through that just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why we recommend to our customers as well. Upload it to YouTube, then use that as a platform, even if you're putting it on your website or anything like that, because Google just picks that up really well through its platform, YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. No, that's a good point. I didn't realize that YouTube did that as well. No, that's great. Thanks, Ange. Okay, just to wrap everything up, we've heard from some search angles, some website angles, and from the creative side as well. So to wrap this up, if someone here wanted to try AI marketing this week, what's the first most practical step they could take? Now, we've got a few different perspectives here. Ben, I'm going to throw to you first.
Oh, throw me under the bus. For me, the first tool that I would suggest is, if you're doing repetitive tasks, is to get a prompt master file. Most businesses do things multiple times. You're not doing different things. Maybe, Ansh, you're doing different photo shoots all the time, but there's probably similar parameters each time. You're working in healthcare. So if you've got repetitive tasks, get your prompts right so that when you're doing something 20 times a week, you've got a shortcut and you're leaning on AI to give you, whether it's keywords, whether it's a storyline, whether it's website content, with a bit of a caveat there, be careful with too much AI website content based on a recent algorithm update. But yeah, for me, it would be have your prompts down such that you can rinse and repeat.
Nice one, Ben. I'll throw to you, Ange, next, because I know Rose has a bit of a page for us with some hot tips. So, Ange, I'll go to you first, then we'll go to Rose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I sometimes find it tough to figure out where to start. And so I think, like, for example, like you could say to AI, help me reach out to leads who have booked us once but never re-engaged us. Give me a step-by-step plan on how I can get to them. So I think as much as it's a machine, talk to it and say, this is, I need some more leads. What can I do to get this? Or I need to target I need to market to a certain demographic of people. What can I do to achieve it? And give me a step-by-step process of it. It's a really good platform in that way, because I've found it that if you just talk to it like you're speaking to a human and just go back and forth, you kind of end up getting to a space which is, it produces something really usable, and yeah, again, gives you a really good starting point where they could begin with.
Nice, Ange. Well put. Rose, I'll flick to you. I know you've made some Canva quick tips for us for your recommendation.
Okay, just following on from what Ange said before too, the to and fro is what trains the models as well. So what ideally when you're working with, say, Google's Gemini or ChatGPT, one of the best tips I could give when you're getting used to your prompts is treat it like an executive secretary that's extremely clever, that occasionally goes on the bathroom break and you get the work experience kid holding the fort, and you might have to repeat yourself. Okay, so it is a lovely combination of those two. You still need to be kind to the work experience kid, because you never know if their parents on the board, but also give it hard tasks to do. So sometimes you have to repeat it yourself. And if anything, another good tool to you, another tip when you're using it is have a read about its apologetic responses when it does stuff up, because it's actually a really lovely, calm way to respond to people. Oh, I'm so sorry I did that the wrong way. Thank you for pointing that out to me. It's actually quite good therapy. Another tip when you're using those large language models in ChatGPT, you can save your prompts as GPTs. So they're the ways to save your awesome prompts that you do in a repetitive way. And if you're on the paid, the pro version, use folders. The sooner you can use folders, the better, because in your projects, you can actually utilize those. I see that question there from Scott. You can actually use the folder system to file everything in a decent order, and if something alphabetically you want to show up higher, change the file name to start with an asterisk, and then that will actually put that alphabetically up the top of your list in your project folders. Same with Gemini. So I use Google's Gemini as my AI tool quite a lot as well. So I hope that helps with that, Chris. There's also Grok and Perplexity, those other tools as well. And quite a lot of different is, I guess, presumably the first cab out of the rank. And with Google Gemini, you can actually save your prompts as gems. So in ChatGPT, they're GPTs. In Gemini, they're called gems. So you can save those. And for those that are using Google Workspace and using Google Gemini as their AI tool, then just so you're aware, you can actually buy a little plugin that doesn't cost very much at all. And it has the folders feature too, which is pretty cool, so that you can put things inside a project. The other thing too is if you want ChatGPT to remember something specifically, ask it to remember it, and it will. So get your gems or your GPT set up to save your prompts. As Ben suggested, is get your prompts right and keep talking to it when it doesn't give you the response you necessarily want. Use folders wherever you possibly can. Staying organised is one of the most important things. From a marketing perspective, to show up online, regardless of the Canva tips I'll point to in a moment on the slide, be on the channels that you need to be on. Okay, so with your website, with your social media profiles, don't forget your Google business profile. It helps you rank. It's not the only thing that ranks though. Some people focus on getting as many reviews as possible. If you do a search for competitors in your area, you may find that the person in the Google map pack in position 1 may actually have, say, 50 5-star reviews, and the person in position 2 might have 100 5-star reviews. So it's obvious that mathematically it's not just on reviews. It's also based on what's on your website and the trust and authority you have throughout the web, which includes directory listings, etc. With the frequent asked questions, there's an FAQ section inside your Google business profile, and so many people don't update that. And get your clients and your colleagues to ask questions on your Google business profile and post the answers. Make sure they use keywords. If you're asking clients for testimonials, ask them to include a keyword. If you're trying to rank for a particular suburb and that customer's your bestie, just say, oh, hey, John, you mentioned you're going to leave us a review. Thank you so much. Would you mind putting in the suburb of Caloundra? I'd really love to rank on that. I'd appreciate if you could mention that and include that. Sprinkle them around naturally in that way. It's no extra effort. You only ask the people that are more likely to be amenable to doing that for you. But your Google business profile, when it comes to keywords, the guys were speaking before about the long tail keywords and the variations. My husband and I were going to Montfort Mullany, and we were having a robust discussion, because we're married, as to how many different waffle type shops there were. And I said, well, type in Poffer Days. So then we had a robust discussion as to how to spell that. And he said, oh, they won't have that on their profiles. I said, yeah, but the ones that do will show up. And they're actually surprisingly large. There were 7 in Sunshine Coast, I think, as opposed to the 2 that we knew of. So those people that actually bothered to put that in their Google business profile showed up simply because they changed their about section to include those keywords of something that and bothered to get some questions answered or asked and answered, and some reviews that included it. For the Canva quick tips from a design perspective, add your brand assets into Canva if you're on a paid one. Load your logo and your color codes for your logo so that when you're bringing up designs, you can click on the shuffle button. That's tip number 2 there, to toggle between seeing the various variations of colors of your logo. If you've got the example I screenshotted last night was my Postable Pro one. It's got teal, navy, and I've put black and white as well. If I want to see something with teal background and navy writing, I click shuffle and it will change it to that. If I want to see it with a navy background and white writing, I click shuffle and it will scroll through them in seconds. It's a really quick and easy way to make sure that your stuff is branded properly and you can pop your logo on there really quickly. Save your favorite brand styles as templates, so you can actually save a layout that you like as a template, so that then when you click new design, say it's a new social post, you choose from your templates and it's already there with your colors, your call to action button, your phone number, your website address, whatever you want on there, and then you just have to tweak the picture and the wording how you like. You don't have to reinvent the wheel and change all of these things over and over and over again. Same with the bulk create feature, absolutely epic. If, for example, you want some inspirational posts going out once a month on your social media channels, then you can get one of the large language. We could go into Google Gemini or ChatGPT and ask it, or you can even go into Canva and use the AI tool within there to ask it to find 12 positive quotes from your favourite people. It might be Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, any other inspirational person with the surname of Robbins, Louise Hay, whoever you like and follow, and put that into a file and import that into a Canva graphic and merge it through. And you've created 12 posts. Same with your actual posting. Put your word into a CSV spreadsheet. You can get ChatGPT to do it. You can even paste content from Microsoft Word or Google Docs, copy, paste in a ChatGPT and say, put all of this into a CSV file I can import into Canva. And it will do it for you. You don't have to copy and paste. So again, executive secretary functionality there. You can take complex tasks and get it to actually do things. So they're the Canva navigation tools. I hope those tips help, and you will have more than halved your design time with that. But at the end of the day, the best way you can personalize it is get a proper photographer and videographer.
Like Ansh.
Here's one we prepared earlier.
Great pitch.
That's perfect. There were some great tips. Thanks, guys. That was great. So we have a little bit of time now at the end for some question and answers. We did have a few that came through the suggestion box, but I might just pop to the one in the chat that Scott has put through. So I'll just read this one out. I was wondering if you might suggest any particular AI program other than ChatGPT for general business documents and marketing, or are they all much the same? Anyone have any major thoughts on that one? I know that we've sprinkled Gemini out a few around there.
I personally,
Well, I mean, go for it, Rose.
I personally like. I'm a Google Workspace gal, so I personally like Gemini for that. I've tried things like Jasper and that before, but really, when you master your prompts, you don't need to reinvent the wheel and spend a lot of money on other tools. Some other tools definitely are worth the advanced features, as is Jasper can be as well sometimes. But if you don't have the budget, then the free option, the ChatGPT has, I've found though, been the best for wording, and Google Workspace is sometimes an alternative and very handy because it exports into Google Docs and things like that.
Nice. What about you, Ben?
I think with this, you've got to start choosing an LLM which is going to suit the future. I think right now market share on ChatGPT is about 88%, plus or minus a little bit. They're the first out of the block. So, Scott, I think they've got the most experience, and for that reason, I'd be starting with them. I do think it's important. I think Google was a little bit late to the game here, but they're coming back in a big way. Their share price is heavily dependent on that, and it poses a massive threat to the search space. So I think if we fast forward 3 to 5 years ahead, I think Google will catch up, and usage will catch up and maybe even overtake, just because they've got way too much skin in the game. They've got a lot of resources. They're bringing out tools at the rate of knots, like Nano Banana, the image generation tool they just brought out about 3 or 4 weeks ago, is just ridiculously perfect. So yes, the other emerging ones are fantastic, but for me, I can't probably try half a dozen like Claude and Anthropic and all the other ones. I would just be keeping my eggs in the safe baskets of ChatGPT due to their experience, and Google because of just how much they will invest to protect their humongous market share.
Yeah.
I was just going to add to that as well. I agree to stick with those two. I found ChatGPT was a bit better with the creative responses, whereas Gemini was better with the search aspect of it. But again, I'm finding that's changing on a like weekly basis. So I sometimes, if I am bothered to, I'll put the same question into both platforms and see what it spits out, and then continue my prompting from there.
Yeah, that's a good test to put the same thing in both of them and see what one suits the needs of your business. That's a good point. I might go into one of the question box. I am a bit conscious of time, so we might try to keep the answers a bit high level. So we've got one from the question box. Should AI generated adverts and influencers be identified and disclosed as AI creations to the general public? Does anyone have any thoughts on this one?
I could take a little bit of it.
Yeah, go for it.
I have thought about this before, and I had my foot on both sides of the line before, but I think yes, they should identify, because like what we're seeing is, again, people losing trust in what's coming out on socials, even if it's not AI generated. I've noticed people going, "Oh, this is AI," or people are just scrolling past because they are losing trust in what people are posting. To the point where, like, when we're doing professional videos, we've started adding human errors into our videos, like camera shakes or holding a clip a little bit too long, just to prove to the viewer that this is this is not an AI generated video. It's a real video that we've filmed. I believe like YouTube, Better, and TikTok, all three require you to identify if it is AI generated video at the moment. But the issue is that you can hide it in like a hashtag or something, and they'll let that slide. So it is out there at the moment, but it's not people aren't looking through hashtags to see if it says AI in there or not. So I think it should become, because the other issue is the ethical dilemma of it. Like, if for example, the fitness industry start using AI generated images to create the perfect body, it changes society into thinking this is what the norm is. Everyone should look like this, or if you engage with our business, you're going to look like this in the next 30 days. So it starts to create this unrealistic notion of result of what people should look like.
I agree with Ansh. If you state that it's assisted, the creation has been assisted or made through AI, it's just being transparent. And if anything, that gives more trust. It doesn't take away from your authenticity. I believe that it adds to it. And if anything, it helps showcase your business against another. Makeup, for example. Oh, gosh. The number of tutorials you see, and it's total AI rubbish. There's no way the makeup looks like that. It's not even real going on. If there was encouragement, let alone requirement, to state that that's the case, it would cause people to pause before they create rubbish. It's quality over quantity. And I think since COVID, since the spicy cough went around the world, people are used to seeing a bit of a cup of tea in the background, and people, stars, celebrities zooming in from home, and Oprah in her slippers. So the more real you can be, that's where you get that authenticity. You don't have to polish it all up with AI.
Yeah. No, nice one. I might go one final question, but if we could keep it quite short, Ange, I'm going to test you on this one. This is from Fong, who was one of the presenters of part 1. He said, "What's your favorite framework to create content through AI?" Ange?
I don't know if I have a favorite framework yet, to be really honest. I think yeah, Fung, it's interesting because I'm finding that my framework is changing all the time, and I don't have a something that I've fully set into, or something that I've fully gone, yeah, this is it, this is what I'm going to work with, because I'm finding holes in a lot of different aspects of it, and then when I find that hole, I research into it and I go down this rabbit hole, and then going back to where I was trying to, that surface level part of it is just. Yeah, so I just keep going down these loopholes, and then I realize I've run out of time today, and I can't complete that task. So, yeah, I really don't know. I'm still waiting to try like VO3, for example, because haven't had a chance to sit down and like look into what that could and how could that could change the framework to create content with. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's purely using ChatGPT and Gemini to assist in the background creation of it rather than the actual running of that content.
Yeah, nice one. Rose is saying you just can't say it out loud, Ansh. Is that true?
Maybe.
Fine, guys. We can't have a favourite. No.
All right. Thank you. We might just wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you to our amazing panel. We do have another session. The WOTSO Skill Swap is going to be running once a month. It falls on the last Tuesday of every month. This is the next one that we have locked in. It's on wellness and work-life balance is the habit of happy. We have someone taking us through that. So it's going to be an awesome session. Thanks again to our panel for taking us through. If anyone wants to reach out to them personally, here's their website and their LinkedIn. I'm sure they'd be happy to hear or take any questions that we maybe didn't get to today. But thanks a lot. I know there's a little reference slide as well at the end here, if you want to flick one more, Paula. So if anyone wants to go back through, here's some of the resources that they spoke about today. So thanks again, everyone. This will be recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel if you want to go through it again or send it around. But yeah, that's all. So thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Thank
See
you.
you later.
See you later.
Bye. Paula, do you want to stop recording? Cool.